I came here last time wanting to show you guys how I feed the fish, and I forgot to record the most important part, which is the fish. Today is a very sunny day. There's some nice clean water, and I think I can show you how the children of the lake feed. I think I'm like one of the only person that comes here to this place and feeds the fish. So yeah, they're incredibly hungry. People ask me like if I like to fish. No, I think it's cruel and barbaric. I don't like the idea of putting a metal hook that's sharp and tormenting an animal like that. It's just barbaric. I like to eat fish, but I'm not the person that wants to, pull them out of the water in such a barbaric way. And not to mention like fishing here, can you imagine? You just throw the bait in and poop, it already bites. I mean, there's no enjoyment in that. But anyway, what do you guys want me to talk about? The super straight thing. Like I got a lot of DMs asking me, it's like, what is super straight? And I'm thinking like, out of all the things that I can explain to you, out of all the things that my wisdom and knowledge can provide you, you want me to tackle this? Okay, fine. Let's talk about what super straight is. There is an ideology forming on the more radical and extreme websites of the internet, which is on Twitter. And that ideology is now saying that a person who refuses to engage into sexual intercourse with a trans woman is a transphobe. Now, that is kind of fine and dandy if it's something that stays on Twitter. If it's just like an ideological experiment to just see how far you can push the ideology, like what is the limit. But no, it seems to also be affecting the real world, and I know of 2 lawsuits, one in Canada and one in the United Kingdom. I'm pretty sure you guys know the one from Canada. It's with the famous activist Jessica Yaniv, who went into a waxing salon, and because the lady that works at the salon didn't want to wax Jessica's private bits, she filed a lawsuit at the Canadian Court of Human Rights. And to be honest, I was expecting that she would win, because a lot of people who file lawsuits at the Canadian Court of Human Rights managed to win. But no, like Jessica is one of the few people that the Canadian court said nope. Like the court is very progressive, by the way. Like that's the thing. But even they said, okay, like that's just a little bit too far. That is a little bit. Now there's another case in the United Kingdom where a person wanted to shoot a porn film. So he was going to find an actress, like obviously someone that would consent to have intercourse with him, and have that filmed on a camera and sell it to a third party, right? It's kind of funny though, like if you ask a person to have sex with you in exchange for money, it's prostitution. But if you film it and you sell it to the public, that's fine. I never understood like how that works, but okay. And the guy finds like a woman that he considers attractive, talks to her on the internet, and then when the woman finally arrives at his place, he finds out that the woman has a penis. And the guy went like, no, I can't, like I'm straight, I don't like the penis, like, please. And that made it into the news because now the woman is suing him for, I guess it's gender discrimination. And I don't know if the UK government sided with the woman or him in that case, but is the idea that it can happen, right? So you now have this question. Is it discrimination if you refuse to have sex with a person that has the same genital as you do? I am of the school of thought that bouncing on my penis is a privilege and not a right. I mean, if I choose not to have intercourse with elderly women that are age 65 and up, does that mean that I'm discriminating towards the elderly now? If a person that's a lesbian doesn't want to have sex with men, does that make her a sexist? I genuinely think that sexuality is a little bit more complex, and the old saying that the penis has a mind of its own has a lot of wisdom in it, because you can't really choose who you are attracted in. And even a straight person has various preferences. I mean, just because you're straight, I know people who don't want to date women that have small breasts. And I also don't know people who don't want to date women that are obese. And women have their own preferences as well. Like, they don't want to date short guys, or they don't want to date guys that don't have a strong jawline and whatever. And I think like these preferences are not something that we rationale into being. They're not ideological in nature. It's just like what we're attracted to. And trying to push an ideology in order to force people to change their preferences is no different than what the Christians wanted to do with their gay conversion therapy. And the reason we consider that now to be immoral is because we know that people were born that way. Like, I can't choose to be gay. I can't choose to be attracted to a penis, much like a gay person, I suppose, cannot choose to be attracted to a vagina. Now, of course, there are exceptions to this. Like, you have people that are bisexual, and like, it's the same for them. Like, they can't choose to stop being attracted into what they are. And I think like this is also a thing to do with love in a way. Once you love someone, you can't just choose not to love them. It's why people have high school crushes, and why certain people are driven mad by them. And at the same time, the reverse is true. I mean, just because a person is very nice to you and they're a very good and decent human being doesn't mean that you're going to love them, or that you're automatically going to feel some attraction. So I genuinely find it distasteful when you have ideologies that are trying to, force people to like something they don't. Because at the end, people aren't going to like something they don't. They're just going to lie about it. I mean, the moment they will find, all right, well, I'm not into penises, but this transgender woman wants to date me. And if I refuse her, then I'm going to be called transphobic. People will just find other reasons. Like, they will say, oh, no, I'm already in a relationship, I'm sorry. Or, I'm just not attracted to you. And like, is this the type of society that people want to live in? A society of fakeness? Where everyone pretends that different things are happening rather than just being outright outspoken. It's like, look, I'm not into penises, all right? I'm just not. And then you save the time of the other person. You save them the emotional baggage that comes with getting attached to another person, thinking that they might have a chance. But that's my opinion on the issue, and I've never heard a different argument than mine, like someone trying to debate me and tell me that I'm wrong. The only thing that I've heard is people trying to censor other people expressing my opinion. So, that's the whole thing with the transphobe, right? Like, shut it down, censor him. It's against the TOS. Don't allow him to express that because we don't have a counter argument for what he has to say. It's literally what's happening. And a lot of people are frustrated by this because they don't want to live in a society of fakeness. And I know the other argument, hold on. Like, there is just one argument. It's like, well, what if the person had surgery? And I know people that are straight who don't want to have a relationship with a woman that had breast surgery. Like, is that also a problem now? I just don't want to question people's sexuality. I think that's something sacred, that's something that belongs to a person, with like some exceptions. Like, if someone draws a pentagram and then has a blood orgy in it, like in South Park, yeah, I think that's a little bit too much. But, like, I think as long as it's legal and it's done between two consenting adults, I genuinely don't care. I'm not a moral busybody. I literally don't care. But if you're going to try to, like, force your bedroom into other people's lives, then I start to care a little bit. Because then I don't think you're going to persuade anyone. I don't think the ideology exists to persuade anyone. And all you're going to do is you're going to get people to lie. All right? Now, on the internet, on the evil website 4chan, there yet again is a troll operation. And the troll operation is to get people to identify as super straight. Because the ideology goes like this. If you say that straight people have to date trans women, but there are a group of people that choose not to date trans women, then they must be of a different sexual orientation. I mean, they make up sexual orientations all the time because, like, initially, It was people who wanted to have intercourse with trans women were called pansexuals, right? But now that we are saying no, every single straight person has to date trans women or they're transphobic, then the group of people that do not, well, they have a new sexual orientation and they're like super straight. And if you challenge that, you're discriminating against their sexual orientation, right? It's just an ideological mind game. And the reason it works is because just like anything from 4chan, in order to get people to share it around and spread it, you need to create some mischievousness behind it all. You need to create some sort of edginess. And it's like, okay, well, the super straight, like the SS, is Nazi-esque in origin. So yeah, I mean, this is a trolling operation because, number one, it got people to overly react to this. That's how trolling works. Like, you do something that's harmless, that can just be ignored. Like, it's not going to affect society if you just ignore it. But you have the people on Twitter that cannot ignore it. And they freak out at it. Like, their reaction to it is completely overblown. It is disproportional. And there are people collecting just pages after pages after pages of unhinged individuals breaking Twitter's TOS and saying that they're going to be violent or they're going to murder anyone that identifies as super straight. You know, like, that's not warranted. Like, all you have to do is to ignore it. But again, like, you get the ideological zealots that cannot ignore it. And I don't think that these are actual violent individuals. If you probably meet them in real life, they're probably just some scrawny dude that, you know, they never got in a fight. But it's the way it works on Twitter. It's a website for radical people and radicalizing them. It basically is just virtue signaling to get credentials with their peers. It's like, oh, I'm so progressive, you guys. Like, I would actually break the law if I found someone in front of me that identifies as super straight. Like, I would do violence. That's how progressive I am. I'm not progressive. And it's literally that. But the thing is, like, for the average Joe, like, people that are not radicals and they're looking at it, they're like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what did I just see? Because that's the whole purpose of the troll up, right? Like, you got the actual people on 4chan that are pushing for this, and they know it's a troll, but it's because they want an over-exaggerated reaction from the other side. And then when the other side provides the over-exaggerated reaction, you get, like, the people that weren't involved, like the people that are neutral, and they just see a guy that's like saying, all right, I'm super straight, and then they got like 20 or 25 people in the comment section threatening to murder him. And it's like, okay, this guy's being persecuted. And most people have the desire to side with the underdog because they're viewing like, okay, well, what the guy is doing is cringy as hell. You know, like, the idea of super straight is cringy, but he doesn't deserve to get persecuted by what appears to be a mob of people with cringy cartoon avatars and hammer and sickle paraphernalia in their bios. So it basically like attracts the wider population into the debate, and they're going to just be on the side of the people that are the underdog, and they're getting kicked right now because it's against Twitter's TOS to advocate for violence, but they're not getting banned. Oh, the people getting banned are usually like the people that are posting the cringy super straight thing. So I think that's the controversy. Like, that is me explaining the situation to you. If you have any further questions, like, feel free to ask, and I'll be seeing you guys in the comment section. Don't forget to thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it, and share it around if you think it holds nuggets of wisdom. And if you really want to support the channel, there's a link to my subscribe star to the pinned comment. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.